Hi, thank you for joining everybody for today's masterclass. And this part of the masterclass is using video in the classroom. I'm Mike Wilkinson, the MD here at Clickview. For those who don't know Clickview, we're the world's leading video content resource. And we're trusted by over 4,500 schools and colleges, including a growing number of local authorities across Scotland, who subscribe really to Clickview. And the reasons they tell us that is supporting teachers in delivering high quality, inspiring lessons by having highest quality teaching and learning content available to them to support their teaching. Equally in that, to save them time in planning and therefore support their well-being, and to break down the barriers between the classroom and home, supporting an increased blended learning model, as well as independent learning, revision and mastery. And the other thing we're seeing a great deal of is supporting evolving pedagogies such as flipped learning. Now, this isn't fully a Clickview session. It's about that principle of using video in the classroom. And I'm delighted for this session, we have Carmel Bones, an educator who I've admired for many years. She's a fellow of the History Association, a coveted author, and carries significant experience in the design of video-based learning, including she was responsible for much of the BBC bite-sized content, which you may have seen broadcast on the BBC throughout the pandemic. Carmel is going to show us many inspiring ways about how to use video in the classroom. She will be using history, given that's her topic, as an example. But of course, the same principles will translate to other subject areas. And much in the same vein, yes, she'll be using Clickview as sponsors here to illustrate the approaches, but these principles are about the principles of using video in the classroom, and equally, they will translate into different contexts too. So I shall now pass to Carmel. However, something unexpected did pop up, and Carmel is unable to join us here in person. So instead, she's immortalized herself in the very form she's looking to talk to us about in video. And of course, we can make that available afterwards. So there's an immediate benefit to video-based practice. And also, I'll be here to answer any questions throughout or at the end of the session. So enjoy the session. I hope it provides some great future practice and ideas for that for many, or confirm some of the approaches many are taking. And of course, if Clickview can help at any time, please also get in touch and come and visit us on the virtual stand. I'll now pass over to Carmel. Thank you.
Hello everybody, and welcome to this Future Scott Clickview presentation examining the use of video in the classroom. My name is Carmel Bones. I'm a history teacher by trade. I've been teaching for nearly 30 years, and I'm actually working in Glasgow at the moment, up in Scotland, filming teachers in action. So using video to examine teachers' practice, so continuing professional development, using self-reflection. So I hope you get the idea that I'm a big fan of video in the classroom, and I've been using it with my students in all kinds of ways over the years. I'm old enough to remember the wheeling in of the big trolley with the TV on and the excitement that would happen. I'm delighted to tell you things have moved on a little bit since then. So I'm going to show you the Clickview repository and all the broadcast content that you can use as part of the Clickview offering, and the wraparound resources as well, and explain how I have used these approaches with my students across the years. When I share the slides, I will disappear to optimize the video links, but I'll come back on at the end and share my email and Twitter at Bones Carmel if you'd like to get in contact with me or swap any ideas. I'd love also to hear how you use these things in practice. So this is an opportunity for professional learning, and hopefully you'll take something forward and use it in class with your students. So sit back, relax. I hope if we're watching a movie here, you have your popcorn handy, as I have. I have been known to give out popcorn in lessons, actually. So enjoy, and thank you for choosing to spend your time with us this morning. So without any further ado, let us share the screen, optimize what we're doing, and hopefully we will be in business. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay, here we go. I'm delighted to be representing Clickview this afternoon, who've won all kinds of awards for their world-class video content. And I'll explain how we use that as we go through. First of all, as educators, you will know, of course, that your students all have different starting points. Now, that could be in terms of their attitudes. You might need to build botheredness and make them care about what they're learning with some gripping initial stimulus material to arouse curiosity. And that's where video content really can help. They also might have different starting points in terms of their knowledge. They might arrive to your lesson with preconceptions or misconceptions. And that's where the world building brought about through video content can also help to close their gaps. It's a fabulous hook as well for learning. And the Clickview repository can allow teachers to be nimble and dart around, calling up different clips, queuing them up as they need them, as necessary. So it's very slick, and it can allow students to see the world, whether this is geography or history. We have physics house, we have all kinds of content created to do with every subject across the curriculum for BGE or senior phase, Nat 5, whatever it is you're working with, there's specifically created content to help. Now, I'm going to look at this rather prophetic quote with you from Professor Barbara Oakley, talking about the blending of the old and new approaches. Now, this is pre-pandemic, but how true this still is today. So whether your students are at home learning remotely for whatever reason, or with you in class, despite their differences, despite their starting points, video content is pretty much a universally accepted way of working. You can also have transcripts for students so that they can read what's been going on as well. So the sound and visuals, it's all there to enhance learning. The Clickview repository then, a lot of R words here, allows for learner self-regulation. Learning is a reiterative process, so the learners can be in the driving seat with their own logons. They can rewind, they can fast forward, they can go backwards and forwards. So there's a big difference in terms of you just playing the video and we all go along together. It allows the opportunity for staggered starts, for revisiting, for retrieval, and helps with working and long-term memory. So what you have in the Clickview repository is broadcast TV. So pretty much everything that's been on the television will be there, copied and recorded. So you can click into that and backtrack if you've missed anything, it's all there. But there's also customized content. And I've been very fortunate to take part in some content creation for Clickview. So I've made films about crime and punishment through time, examining the Middle Ages through the life of a serf, a medieval peasant. And more recently, a series on Elizabethan England, which I'm going to showcase a section on Mary Queen of Scots today. But before I do that, I'm going to take you back to 1998 and going to look at Shekhar Kapoor directed Elizabeth film. And then I'm hopefully going to convince you that at Clickview, we've used the best of the big movie. I mean, the Elizabeth film was nominated for Golden Globes, and Kate Blanchett actually won a Golden Globe for Best Actress. So we've taken the best of the movie industry, which is all there within Clickview as well, and used it to help with the customized content. So what I'm going to do now is show you this little excerpt from the start of the Elizabeth film. A warning, it's a bit brutal. It would be aimed at senior phase. It has a 15 certificate. It's an auto da fe, so it's quite gruesome, quite a gruesome, gripping start. Off we go.
me about. And the snares of death have overtaken me. The towards the cloud encompass me about. And the snares of death have overtaken me. In my tribulation, I called to the Lord and cried to my God. And he heard my voice cry out his devil.
I'm back. Keep in line, woman.
By order of their gracious majesties, Queen Mary and King Philip, we are come to witness the burning of these Protestant heretics who have denied the authority of the one true Catholic Church and of His Holiness the Pope. Let them burn for all eternity in the flames of hell.
Deus, Pater, Filius, et Spiritus benedicat te, omnipotens Deus, Pater, Filius, Spiritus Sanctus, benedicat te, omnipotens Deus, Pater, Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus, benedicat te, omnipotens Deus, Pater, Filius.
God bless you, Master Ridley!
Love of God! Friends, help me! I burn too slowly!
Help them! For God's sake, help them! Resistance from my enemy!
Now then, I pretty much threw you in at the deep end then and just asked you to watch. If I was working with my students, I would ask them, what might surprise you about this? What questions do you have? So I would set the learners up with some active watching beforehand. And what I'm going to do now, sorry, if we can move along, is think about what we have to be mindful of for effective educational content when using video. So a few things to think about is the importance of signaling. So what you had there was some words and some information directing you to what you were looking out for. So it was setting the scene, it's 1554, it was actually the execution of Latimer and Ridley. And I would be asking the students, well, you know, what do you think about what really happened at the time? And then we could perhaps look at Fox's Book of Martyrs and look at some contemporary images and details so that they can cross-refer and find out, you know, the fact from the fiction, if you like. Segmenting as well, breaking down videos into sort of chapters or chunks, which is exactly what this video or the videos that we have made does as well. Weeding out any extraneous load, any other bits and pieces that the students don't need. So taking care where to place emphasis. And the things we've created are completely in line with SQA requirements. And then matching modality. So it might be that we have cartoons and words to make the most of dual coding so that students have the information that will remain sticky with them and help with their short term or their working and their long-term memory. So the big movie makers think about these things when they're creating their blockbusters, and I suppose we could say that Clickview have thought about these issues as well when creating the customized content, queuing up the information as best will sort of stick with the learners. Thinking then as well about learner engagement. And there's been a lot of research done using MOOCs and multimedia instruction in order to make the importance of the videos being short. I mean, there are students, as you'll know, perhaps are all over TikTok in the lockdown. Short, conversational, presenting quickly and with enthusiasm, and making it proximal, relatable, and matching the modality to what would suit them as well. So we've seen the big blockbuster. Let me show you a trailer now for a Clickview Elizabethan England 4-part series, which I've had the pleasure and privilege of working on.
This is a story involving political intrigue, conspiracy, betrayal, execution, romance, spies and secret codes. Royal families caught up in mortal disputes right across Europe, the Protestant against Catholic. Welcome to Elizabethan England. Elizabeth I ruled England for almost 50 years. Mary's arrival in England was the first major crisis of Elizabeth's reign. The English Parliament and nobility were concerned about Catholic plots to overthrow Elizabeth and install Mary on the throne. Upon arrival in May 1568, she was imprisoned at Carlisle Castle. The execution in 1587 outraged Catholic Europe, which would culminate in the battles of the Spanish Armada.
Now then, I hope you can see, I hope I've convinced you of the high quality involved in the customized content. As I've said, with the specific aligned to the specifications in terms of what the students need to know. But alongside the videos, there is a range of wraparound materials as well. And I want to kind of walk you through those now. So I'm suggesting that you use the range of materials to make the change in terms of the students' learning. It allows the students as well to become more self-regulating so that they're in the driving seat, because they are able to punctuate their viewing with questions and check test themselves as they're going through. So that then saves you the job of the marking, and it generates all the data so that you can give whole class feedback. So I'm going to show you how that works now. And what you've got within the offering are guided questions, interactives that give the students control, integrated questions, and flipped learning approaches. So you can kind of set the learners up with videos to watch before and give them other prompts for after their lessons as well. So we're going to have a little look at some of these things now. So to run alongside the Elizabethan England series, for instance, there are a series of wraparound resources, comprehension questions, character cards, diary dilemmas. One of my favorites here, a summarizing pyramid. I've found that these work very, very well for students who might be a bit more reluctant when it comes to writing a lot, let's say, because it's quantifiable, it's finite, it's box offable, and then they don't want to stop, in my experience. They want to fill in all the words in the 8-line pyramid, and then they want to perhaps generate and create others for their classmates. So the wraparound resources are brilliant and all come as part of the package as well. So you've got here, for instance, some character cards linked to Elizabethan England. And when you share these with the students, for instance, they would immediately say, where are the women? Was it the women, Mary Queen of Scots and Elizabethan England, that were in charge? But how ironic that the women really aren't making the rules in any other regard. So, I mean, this is just a snapshot of some of the character cards, but high quality colour, cut them out, shuffle them around, get up close and personal, and know the individuals involved. And these things exist for all the subjects across the curriculum. I'm just showcasing history with you today. You can see here some comprehension questions as well. This runs alongside the Mary Queen of Scots Troubles at Home and Abroad, but in line with research and cognitive science, you've got some previewing or prediction questions at the start and some reflection, more kind of synoptic, summative, open-ended, further-reaching questions at the end, and hopefully they will tie in with what you want your learners to know about as well, as I say, in line with the exam board requirements. Now, what I'm going to do now is talk you through some of the sort of interactives as well. So what you can see here is a question list, the types of questions, multi-choice, short answer, true or false, missing words. There are all kinds of different types of questions that learners can test themselves with as they're watching. So their video is punctuated with these interactive questions. So I'm just going to run you through a minute or two of interactives, and I'll talk you through what's happening. So if I can get this to play now, you can see that as a learner is watching, you can then identify that it's an interactive video and you want the students to take part in these types of questions. And you can see the types there. And then they can play the video, as you can see. And then along the bottom, you'll see how the video is punctuated with the different types of questions. So you've got a 17-minute video here, and it will pause and stop, as you can see. And pop-ups will arrive with multi-choice. And the learners can submit their answers. And then you'll get another type of question. And the learners again can submit their answers. A longer answer in this case. And send it off to you. And then more multi-choice. And the beauty is that you can see who said what at the end, so you can view the results. And this is the power of this, really. So let's imagine you've got a class of 6 students here. Student rankings on the right-hand side there. You can see their average score out of 8 questions. So Ashley got 8 out of 8 and Holly got 8 out of 8. And you can see that Brett got 8 out of 8. And then you can see here that question number 8, why was Mary Queen of Scots put to death, was the question where there was the biggest gaps. So only 4 out of 6 students got that correct. You can see the number of students who attempted, the number of attempts per student, the time of day that they completed it. And you can share this with the students if you want to, or you can anonymize things or use it for your information. And it can inform your teaching going forward. So it's using technology to modify the learning in the classroom. So it's really, really rather powerful. So I just want you to be able to sort of take that on board, because that is all built in as part of the offering as well. Now then, that brings me to the end of what I wanted to say, but please let's continue the conversation. You've got my Twitter details and my email there, and you've got the Clickview contacts if you want to learn more. The brilliant, brilliant team at Clickview, Mike and Tammy and Chris and so on, they will talk you through and explain more of this to you if you so wish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing, and here I am back. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you found that useful. I'd love to be in touch with you, so please do drop me a line. I'm happy to explain anything more. Enjoy the rest of the Future Scott conference, some big names, some great talks, a great opportunity for professional learning, and thank you very much for taking part today. Thank you.
And that's a thank you to Carmel from afar on her video there. So hopefully, colleagues, you've got both a flavour there of some of the capability of Clickview, be that the teaching and learning content which we produce and license, ready to use in the classroom and beyond, the best of broadcast TV for education and how that can be used, which sits alongside the other tools we have to empower the use of your own video content, and those great things like interactives to really bring learning to life and turn that passive viewing into interactive watching. Into interactive learning, sorry. And of course, Carmel sharing principles here, which will be really fantastic for use in practice, regardless of which platforms you're using. Hopefully, if anyone's got any questions, I'm here to be able to help. I know to colleague MDB had asked a question, which I've typed the answer out to there on the text-based chat, but any further questions, colleagues, that we can help with at this juncture? think we look to be okay in terms of the questions. So if there's nothing further, if anyone does have any questions popping up, do feel free to pop over to the Clickview stand. We've got Chris and Alia, who you'll be in very capable hands with for any questions pertaining to Clickview, or indeed if you've any questions you would like us to channel to Carmel, or of course you got the Twitter handles for both us and Carmel there. Please feel free to share your experience. Feel free to also share any questions you might have, which we can take online there too. So thank you very much for your time and attention, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of the day. And it looks like we finished a few minutes early, giving you more time to enjoy your lunch break as well. Thank you very much. All the best.